Good evening. Welcome to The Next Word. I'm your host, Chris Warnke, and tonight we have a special guest and a friend, former House of Representatives from Iowa, Mr. Wayne Ford, and he is the story about how someone can come out of adversity and be a success.
Thank you very much.
And you are the story of that. Wayne, I mean,
Chris.
I have to say, you're a native Southeast Washington
Yes.
resident. You were voted the most unlikely to succeed in high school.
At Ballou High School.
At Ballou High School.
1969.
And look where you are today.
I come a long way, as they say,
You've come
baby.
a long way.
I come a long way.
I love it.
Yes.
But
yes.
a native boy
Yes.
from Washington makes his way out to Iowa.
The fifth whitest state in America.
Right, and makes a huge impact.
Thank you.
We'll talk about that, but
Yes.
I mean, you are an inspiration to
Thank you.
so many young kids, and I've seen what you've done. I mean,
Thank you.
Dan Rather talks about
Yes,
you.
yes, yes.
I mean, in his book, he talks about his 12 or
Yes.
10 heroes in life,
That's
and
right.
you're one of them.
Thank you, Chris.
So you have a lot to be thankful and a lot to be proud of, Wayne, really. I mean, what a journey.
Thank you.
So let's go back. Okay, so go
Okay.
back to your childhood, because I'm always fascinated with this. I mean, you were like, what, robbing people on buses? And
Yes, yes,
I mean,
yes.
you're doing all kinds of crazy things, huh?
Yes, yes.
Your mother, you
My
grew up-
mother wasn't married to my father.
She was not.
My
Okay.
father
Which
was
is-
married to another
Okay.
woman.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Did you have siblings?
I have a sister later, but what happened was when she got pregnant, my father was still married to another woman. So she took me to Washington, D.C. from Wilson, North Carolina, and dropped me off to her sisters. And then when she got back home, her mother said, "Where's the baby?" Because you can't fool your mother.
Right.
So her mother knew that she was carrying me. My mother wanted to give me a chance. My mother told me before she died she had 8 abortions and that I was lucky.
Wow.
And I was born in 1951.
Wow.
So I feel very blessed by God that I was lucky, and I was so happy that my mother got a chance to come to Iowa. And when I was sworn in, I looked up there, and there was my mother.
Wow.
That was my mother looking down on her son, the only black legislator in Iowa at that time, saying, "Job well done." So me and my mother did full circle, and I thank God she was able to see some of my achievements.
So, but you had come here through your mother, and you lived with your
My aunts.
Your aunts.
In Northeast Washington, we moved to Anacostia, in Parkland, in
So
Southeast
you
Washington.
moved to Anacostia, and
Yes.
you went to Ballou.
Yes.
Okay.
But the story started before Ballou. Roberta Flack taught me at Brown Junior High School.
Roberta Flack, the famous.
Yes.
Oh,
I
yeah,
I
she
was
was a
at. I went to
teacher.
Charles Young, then I went to
Yeah.
Brown. Roberta Flack was my music teacher before I moved in the 8th grade. She was my music teacher.
Wow,
Then I
she was
moved.
so proud of DC.
Yes, and I was one of her favorite students. I mean, if you look at my life, although I was the class clown and went to the office all the time, I was a lot of my teachers' favorite pet.
Were you really?
Yes, I was.
So wait a minute. So going back, I didn't know you were musically inclined.
Yes.
Well, now this is a whole side of me.
Oh,
side of you that I didn't-
I'm a DJ. They call me, I'm a DJ back home. I love oldie but goodie music.
Wow, Wayne, this I never knew about
yes.
you.
Thank you.
Well, now I'm impressed. So you go to Ballou.
Yes.
You're a bad person, a bad boy.
Bad person.
Very bad person.
Yes.
Yeah. In and out. I mean, you were.
Well, I
Truant.
went to, got caught up one time, almost went to jail, missing school. I mean, I was a thug. I was a hoodlum.
You were a hoodlum.
And I was doing bad things, and I had my guys. We had 2 other guys, and we were robbing buses, and we were doing bad things.
So what changed it?
I think what changed me was one time we was robbing a bus, and my friend of mine had the knife at the bus driver's neck. The police car came up, and as the police car came up, they looked up. And my friend, I'm not a killer, but my friend, I know would have took his life if he said so. If he hit the horn. So my friend had the knife right here. I'm looking at all this. And the police looked up, and the police and my bus driver smiled. If he did not smile or yell or hit the horn, then I would not be here now because I'd have been part of a murder situation.
Right.
So that changed my life. When I saw that, and I said, well, I'm not willing to take a person's life for no money, that made me recognize that I was very fortunate that he didn't do that because I would not be in this chair. So I guess a man or woman must know their limitations. When I saw that, then that changed my life.
Well, and you decided to get involved with football.
Yes, well, I was a good football player, but I was still robbing buses at night. So
You were robbing buses at night, football
just,
player by day.
Well, because I was looking for attention.
Right.
My 2 guys, my little gang, they acknowledged me, they loved me, they took a bullet for me, I took a bullet for them. You got to remember, I didn't come up with my natural bonding.
Right.
So my friends were no different than the guys in Northeast, Southeast today. They would do anything for their bond,
their
for their
buddies,
friends.
for their
I was no
buddies.
different. I was no different.
And we're seeing that today.
And you see, it just
It just keeps
it keeps going.
coming
And we're going to
circle.
talk about some we need
we
to
have
change.
talk
We'll talk about that a little bit later
So
when you're ready.
you get in football. You get into football.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you get a scholarship.
I was a pretty good athlete. At 15
you
years
were.
old, I was an all-conference football player. I was playing against guys who fought in Vietnam because back then you could be 19, 20, 21 and still be in high school.
Right.
When I was 14 years old when I started playing football at Ballou. I never knew my natural strength, but I was a pretty strong, aggressive
you
person
were.
because of all the anger. All the anger was built in. So when I got on the football field, all that anger came out, not knowing my mother, not knowing my father, all the jokes people would say about me because I stuttered, all those things.
You stuttered. Wow.
I stuttered, and I still stutter now a little bit, as you know. You know, we
Yes.
have, you know,
Yes.
and sometimes you had to correct me on my English, and that's good, because all those years, you don't change those upbringing.
You don't change it, yeah. And so you got a scholarship for a 2-year college, right?
Yes, Rochester, Minnesota, home of the Mayo
Minnesota.
Clinic. Yes.
Oh, you went to Minnesota?
Minnesota
Oh, my God.
first, on a 2-year
So
scholarship.
you went from Anacostia to
yes.
Minnesota.
Yes, yes.
Rochester,
all
Minnesota.
black community, all white, overnight.
Overnight. All black community to an
Right.
all white community.
Right.
Overnight.
17 years old.
Wow. And how, boy, what an experience. It was tough.
It was tough, Chris, but I had vision. In the 8th grade, I was told to write my obituary. I told
You were
Dad-
told to write your obituary.
Yes, I
Wow.
told Dan Randa this story. What happened was, I never forget this, Chris. My hand, I was trying to stop my hand from writing. My hand, Chris, I'll never forget. I grabbed my hand, and they would say, "You'll be in the Midwest. You'll be in charge of a community center, and you'll be involved with politics. And upon your death, they would name something after you." Chris, I can see that. Go, yes, I had no control, Chris. I was in 8th grade English class, and she told us to write our obituary. I never forget it, Chris.
Wow. So, and Dan Rather, of course, writes about you.
He heard about the story about me robbing buses and turning my life around in Iowa, and I was one of the 30 people he chose as heroes in this country.
Wow, I remember the book.
Yes.
I
The
remember
American Dream.
The American Dream.
Yes, Chris.
And there was a press conference and all kinds of it.
Yes,
It was
yes,
amazing.
you were there.
I was there.
Yes.
So then you go to Iowa. You
Yes.
get into Drake. Fabulous school.
Yes,
Fabulous
yes.
school.
The Harvard of the Midwest, it was called.
Right. Incredible school.
Yes.
And there you have a football scholarship. Correct?
Yes.
But something again changed in you because you just, you transferred from a community college in
Yes.
Rochester,
Right, right.
Minnesota, to Iowa,
Right.
which of course again is pretty much at that time an all white,
Right.
correct?
What happened, Chris, was I was on a bus going to play in Minnesota, only black on the football team. I looked at the window, Chris. It was going to northern Minnesota. I looked at the window. I saw these big white guys with lumber jackets on. True story. And I panicked. I said, my God, because I had a fear, Paul Bunyan, lumberjacks. I'm a black guy, white Minnesota.
Yep.
And I never forget, his name was Scott Bradley. We're friends today. Scott Bradley said, Wayne, he stood up in the bus. He was captain of the football team.
Oh, wow.
One black. He said these words to the whole bus and the coaches. If anybody mess with Wayne Ford, they mess with all of us. All the racism, all that, I don't like you because you're black. I don't like you because you're white. All that went out the window.
Wow, what a story! Wow.
So he gave me a different perception. I mean, only black from Southeast Washington.
Yeah, you only black
Robbing
on the
buses. I'm only black in an all-white state.
Yeah, right. The state of
Come on,
Minnesota,
now. I mean,
right,
come on. If you
right.
threw me in the woods, you never would have found me. Let's be
Right,
candid.
right.
This is 1967, 68,
Wow.
69.
Wow.
Long time ago. So that changed my life. My experiences changed my life, Chris.
Absolutely.
And was getting me ready. So when I became the only black legislator, it was just, I was ready, Chris. I was really prepared for all the things I've done.
You really were.
Thank you.
So Scott Bradley.
Yes, I never
So
forget
he
his
changed
name.
it.
He's the
And
one.
he was from Minnesota. I mean, that was.
He was from Minnesota, and he said, no, they mess with you, they're going
and
to
to
mess
this
with all
day,
of us.
he's still
He
in
lives
Minnesota.
in Minnesota, and we still talk to this day. And we talk about it. I told him how that meant so much to me. Because I could have
that
been a
does mean a
racist.
lot.
I could have
Wow,
hated white
wow,
people. I could
right.
have had so many things.
That's a
but
huge-
I couldn't get past that because he said they mess with you, they got to hurt all of us. That was it turned my life
Which
around.
is wonderful. Which is absolutely wonderful. So you got to Drake,
Thank you. Yes.
and there you excelled.
Yes. Well, I was on the president's list. I recognized that I was a pretty smart guy. Remember,
Yeah.
because I studied and all that, I never knew how smart I was. Rochester kind of helped me.
Right.
I won the Martin Luther King Award. But Drake really gave me what I needed. I was thought I would use this, well, I'm just a little black guy from D.C., I can't read or write. Never forget this, Chris. My English teacher came to me. He said, Mr. Ford, come here for a minute. Marketing teacher. He put me to the side and said, don't you use a little poison stuff on me. I will flunk you. I will throw you out of this school. He looked me dead in my eyes. He scared the stuff out of me because I couldn't use all those examples.
Right.
Woe is me. I couldn't use it no more.
You couldn't use it.
He didn't say,
he uncovered you.
He uncovered me.
He
And
uncovered you.
I made a choice. And I
Right.
said, thank you. He's dead now, but that meant a lot to me. So those are the things that changed
really
my life.
impact your life. Yeah. And
I couldn't use it
So
anymore.
small gestures, small sayings.
Yes,
small,
yes. I seen your show. I seen you interview people. And somehow, it's the small things that make us who we are.
It is.
It's not the big things.
Right.
I watch your show. It's not,
Right,
it's the
right.
small things. And you have a
Right.
way to get the small things out of people. You see how excited I am talking to you.
Yeah.
Me and you,
that's
finally together, talking. Come on.
Finally together.
Yes,
And
all
these are
these
things I
years.
didn't even know.
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
God.
Because you can
So-
bring it out of me, yes.
So then you ran for office.
Yes.
That must have been an experience but Des Moines is
Yes.
you have
Oh,
the
my
pockets
God, come on.
of immigrants, which are kind of later, but
Right,
you
right,
have,
right.
you have the minority community.
Small
But then you
minority
have
community.
you have the white community. I mean,
Large white
affluent,
community. Yes,
more
yes.
affluent.
Johnny Carson, John Wayne, Iowa.
Yeah.
John Wayne is from
John Papa
Iowa.
John, yeah.
Yes, we can go on and on and on.
Right.
So and
Right.
so is Debbie Reynolds, not Debbie Reynolds, but Donna Reed is from there. There's many people who are well known around the world who
Wow.
are from Iowa.
I know Iowa. Listen, Iowa produces a lot of great people.
Yes, including Wayne Ford. I'm sorry,
Including
I'm
Wayne
from
Ford.
Washington D.C. I had to
So
get
what
that.
made you possess you to decide now? Okay, you know what? I'm going to take on the world. I'm going to run for office,
Well, part of that
which was not easy.
It was not easy for a black legislator. When I won, I became the 10th black legislator in the history of Iowa to ever,
Right.
serve. But I look at Iowa, and I look at all the dynamics, and I look at the history, and I looked at during World War I. Woodrow Wilson, president, said, "We got to show black people how to fight, but I don't want to get no black people no gun in Washington D.C." Woodrow Wilson, World War I, because black people would start shooting.
Jeez.
So give it a true story. So guess what he did? He sent an invite to all the states in America. Who wants to train black officers? Only one state applied back, and that was the state of Iowa.
No, wow.
I know my history.
So it's a very, that's interesting.
Yes, yes.
It's a very tolerant state.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
No, I've always loved Iowa.
Well, it's very tolerant. From Mr. Papa John, from the Greek population. I mean, it's very, and you know some of the struggles he went through, him and his family.
Oh, I know. Amazing story.
Well, you know the
I
story.
mean, he's on a Warren Buffett level.
Yes, well, I understand, but it started there when he had nothing.
Yes,
And look
he
at
had
him
nothing.
now.
Yeah, look at him now.
Yes.
From Mason City, Iowa.
Yes. And his father struggled, and they called him names.
Right.
So I got that. But again, he overcome.
Yeah.
I overcome.
Yeah. I do equal to a Warren Buffett. I mean, he had such a genius vision
Yes.
in terms of
Yes.
the business and
It's a gift.
what
Yes.
the next business
Well,
would be, what that the people needed, whether it was in healthcare, in
and
energy,
he wore a little raggedy
renewable.
suit. Yes,
Yeah,
he wore a little suit.
Yeah.
And because of his gifts intellectually, Grinnell College has the largest foundation of any private school in America.
Really?
That school is in Iowa.
That's
Because Mr. Buffett, his son, comes to Iowa, his daughter comes to
right,
Iowa.
right.
He's right in Nebraska. All those dynamics that people don't hear about. But remember now, in the third grade, I took the Iowa Basic Skills Test.
Right.
You took it. Well, if you was in America, I don't know where you was at that time, but we all took the Iowa Basic Skills Test. And I never forget, true story, this is in my book that's coming out. We'll talk about later. When I get the book, then I hope to be able to get a chance to come back on your
Right,
show.
of course.
But in the book, I'll never forget this. I was doing the test. I say, teacher, I rose my hand. Why do we have the Iowa Basic Skills Test on the bottom of the sheet? I had no idea that I'd become a very well-known person in Iowa. And she said, because Iowa has the best educational system in the country.
Really?
We were number one back then.
Wow.
We stayed
You were number one by the wow.
Us in Minnesota and Wisconsin, we were number one. But we
Wow.
lost that now.
I didn't know that, but that's
Education system one of the best in the country.
isn't that great that you got that? Oh my
We
God,
created the
that's
Iowa Basic Skills
So
Test.
I'm learning
Yes.
things. Wait, I'm
Oh,
learning
oh,
all this,
oh, okay.
all these years.
oh.
So we're going to take a break and we'll come back.
I'm too excited.
And then we'll learn
We got to
more.
take a break. Okay, I'm sorry. I get too
Yeah,
okay.
you get to that. But
Okay,
we're going to
okay.
take a short break.
Yes.
You're watching The Next Word. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
Because of you, I feel not alone in this world. And you let me know that it only takes one person to make you feel wanted.
Welcome back. You're watching The Next Word. I'm your host, Chris Warnke, and tonight I have a very special guest. I have former House of Representatives from the state of Iowa, Wayne Ford, who actually is from Southeast Washington and made his way to Iowa in a very successful way. And what a story, Wayne. I
Thank
mean,
you.
Southeast, robbing buses,
Yes,
doing all kinds of bad things,
right.
had a moment that changed your life.
Well, yes, indeed. Robbing those buses.
Robbing those buses.
Yeah. I would not be here now if he would have, killed the bus driver. The bottom line.
The bottom line. Unbelievable.
And then I had my
Wayne.
vision, and when I was told to write my obituary.
Right.
Chris,
You were told to write your obituary
yes.
in high school.
No, in the eighth grade.
In eighth grade, you were told to write your obituary.
Yes, Chris.
So your mother, let me go back to something. So your
Yes,
mother
yes.
actually raised you?
Yes.
Okay.
No, my aunts raised
Your
me.
aunts raised you.
Yeah, she
Your
went
mother
back.
was in North
She
Carolina.
went back home.
Okay.
And took care of her mother until she died.
Until she died.
Until
And
she
when
died.
did your mother die?
My mother died, many years later, but she
Yeah.
took care of her own mother. And my mother, died of old age, but she never left. She stayed down there and took care of
So
her.
she really never raised you.
Well, true. She never raised me. My aunts raised me.
And your father was married to somebody else.
Yes, but then guess what? My mother and father got married when I was 7 years old.
No, they got married. Unbelievable.
They got
What a
married, and I
story.
never forget. He came to D.C.
Yeah.
I never forget. I was in the bathroom because I was scared. Who's this man coming out? He gave me $5, and I tore up the money, and I was about
Really?
6, 7 years old. I was about
You
7.
tore up the money.
Yes, and ran back in the bathroom because you got to remember, Chris, I didn't know who he was.
Right.
So I mean, Chris.
So they married. Did they ever divorce? Did they stay
no,
together?
No, they stayed together.
They stayed together?
Yes. My
What
mother
a
and father.
story,
Yes,
Wayne.
yes. My name was Wayne Ward until my mother married. Then that's her maiden name. My name was Wayne, and that's Wayne W. Ford.
Yeah.
But that happened when I was 7 years old.
Wayne Ward.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Freeman Negro Hospital, Howard University. I was born there
In Howard University.
because that's where blacks were born in
And you know-
1950. Yes.
And the Griffith Stadium
Yes.
is in Howard University Hospital.
Yes.
And if you go in there, you can see the plate
Yeah.
where they played.
Yes.
There's an actual plate in the hospital.
Yes. Baseball.
Home plate.
Yes,
Plate.
yes.
Right.
I went to
inside the
Griffin
hospital.
Stadium. I watched the Washington Senators, and Frank
Yeah.
Howard and all them.
Oh, what a history.
I'm in Kansas City. I'm in Kansas City a lot. The Hall of Fame.
Yes, the Hall of Fame.
All that stuff down
All
there.
that stuff. There's also a museum, by
Yes,
the
it
way.
is. Yes, it is. There's some great barbecue.
Yeah.
When you come that way again, we got to okay.
Go to Kansas City.
Yes,
Go by
yes,
Kansas
yes,
City.
Yes.
So back to Iowa.
Yes.
So you finally ended up in Iowa.
Yes.
And Des Moines is such an interesting city, really.
Yes, it is.
People, don't really understand Iowa, and they don't understand Des Moines.
I was one of the
I
insurance
love
companies.
Iowa. I love Iowa,
Well,
and I love Des Moines. I mean,
We know how to make money.
and it's actually culturally rich. You have your communities.
Yes, you do.
You have a strong influence of your southeastern Europe.
Yes, you do. Yes,
Right?
you do. Yes,
Influx?
you do. Yes, you have.
You have your minority communities.
Yes,
you have the
Italian,
Hispanic community. Right.
Italian community.
And you have the Greek Americans.
Yes,
and you
yes,
have,
yes.
So it's all these pockets.
Yes. It's a unique situation.
So you have managed to navigate through all these pockets.
My district, when I was representing Ford, I had some of the richest people in the state of Iowa and some of the poorest.
And some of the poorest.
No one had those type
So
of dynamics.
But you understood what the poorest needed.
I went to Rochester, Minnesota, yes.
Right, so you went to Rochester. So you started Urban Dreams,
Yes,
a nonprofit,
1985.
1980, to help
Yes.
the underserved. That's how I
Underserved.
really got to know
Underserved.
you. The underserved, which is still alive today.
I've been retired 2 years. It's still there.
It's still there.
Run by a younger man named Isaiah Knox.
No,
who will
really.
Carry on. He's doing it in his way.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
Well, for things to live longer than you can't make that up.
But you know what I loved about I love because too, in your community, you had others that were doing similar kinds of things.
Robbing banks, robbing
right.
stores,
A
involved
KO.
with, yes.
I mean, you had
Black
other,
Muslims.
Gerald Bradley. You had
had them all.
Brantley.
Had them all
Yeah.
types of people.
All types of people.
All walks of
and they're
life,
all doing
yes.
wonderful things.
Well, I mentored all of them. They all came through Urban Dreams.
Yeah.
And I was blessed
Yeah.
enough
Yes.
to have a
Yes.
large enough organization. One time we had 60 people. I was statewide. I was throughout the Midwest one time.
Right.
I was in Missouri.
Right.
I was very blessed to have that same mentality. I tell people, we'll treat the governor the same way we'll treat a dope addict.
Right.
Same respect. No more, no less.
Right,
That's
right.
my rule.
Right. Now, and then when you were in the House, for how long?
14 years.
14 years.
Yes.
Out of that, you created the Brown and Black Presidential Forum.
No, that was back in the 80s.
Oh, that was in the 80s.
That
when
was
you
in the
did
80s,
this.
yes.
And that's going to be a big debate
Yes,
coming
we're
up.
coming up at C-SPAN, first road to the White House.
First road to the White House.
The first time C-SPAN left Washington, D.C., Chris,
Really?
was to cover my
Br-
event.
Presidential Brown and
You
Black.
can't make this up, Chris.
No, you can't.
Okay.
Oh, no. I mean,
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I've been very blessed, Chris.
And when is it now? In January?
Yes, January
2020?
20th, Martin Luther King birthday. You got an invite.
Thank you. I'll be there.
I hope you can be there.
I will be there.
Okay.
That's exciting. You've been doing that for what?
The first one was in '76 when I was Jimmy
Really?
Carter's minority education coordinator.
Oh, you were?
So I helped Jimmy Carter, but the first Brown and Black was in 1984.
Oh, 84.
Yes,
wow.
when Jesse ran.
Oh, my God.
Yes,
really?
and
Wow.
Brown and Black. I never forget, Jesse came up with a brown suit on. I said, oh, Jesse don't miss nothing.
That brown suit.
Oh,
that's
yeah, it
great.
was Jesse Jackson.
I
Yes,
love it.
yes,
I love
yes,
it.
yes.
And now today you have every network covering it.
The world comes
The
out.
world comes out.
Yeah,
The world
everybody.
always comes out for Iowa.
And we got
I
a
mean,
big announcement that we're going to be announcing pretty soon about who's going to be doing it. I'll make sure you get that so you can announce
Thank
on your
you.
TV
Okay,
show.
thank you.
Yes.
And then everybody comes out to Iowa,
Yes, they do.
whether for the steak fry.
Well, yes.
The famous steak
people are
fry.
jealous. It's just
Yeah.
all white state. How can we have that much power? Again, when no other state sent a letter back to the president, one state said we will train blacks to fight in World War I. Ours was very unique. So it's only one state who applied, and that was in 1914.
Really? Wow.
One state said yes.
So what a story. I
Look at me. I mean, look, I'm a black man from Southeast Washington, raw buses.
Right.
I become one of the most powerful blacks in the history of Iowa.
Right.
You can't make that up. For me to say I did it by myself would be an outright lie. When Scott Braddy took to the bus and said, anybody mess with Wayne Ford, mess with all of us white guys here. We're a team, one for all and all for one.
Yeah, which is amazing.
It should be America. It should be America. You know what we go through now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So it's amazing though. And when you've stuck through it, you were there, and you had to run every 2 years.
Yes,
Wow,
7 times.
7 times.
Yes.
But you decided at one point just to hang.
Well, because
hang your
Urban
hat.
Dreams was having some challenges.
Yes.
And remember, I was full-time state legislator. I work all night. Was married multiple times, to be candid. I mean, it was just a lot going on.
Right.
So I said, I got to make some decisions. So I made a decision and slowed down and stopped Capitol Hill, and my life has been different ever since. 14 years is a long time for a legislator.
And you come back. Do you go back to the neighborhood?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, some of my dreams is to bring some of those. I've been very blessed to learn a lot of things. I'm working at Howard University. I'm on the board of the Urban Institute on their prison reform board. Mm-hmm. So I've told people, and I was at my anniversary, and my 50th anniversary is this year, to come back in the 50th year. You can't make this up. And I told them that I was going to come back and use some of the skills that have been so successful out in the Midwest to bring back here before I die, to give to some of the people in the Southeast and to give to some inner city people, because I've learned a lot of ways to make money, bring things together, change system. I never met a situation that intimidated me. I've been very blessed, and I want to get those skills before God calls me home.
And you didn't really have. You had no siblings around you. You
really
grew up alone. You really grew up.
You
grew up alone.
Well, if you look at it, yes. Well, me and God is always my co-pilot.
Right.
So I
But
was
you really
always,
grew up with your aunts raised you.
That's right. Me and my cousin
in
Reggie.
one of the most distressed areas in the city.
Yes. Well, it's Southeast now. You know, most of your shootings.
It's
and
just like
killings
what's
over
happened.
there. Yeah.
Yes, it's just.
Well, it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed because you got to remember how I am. The reason when I first started doing Urban Dreams in the inner city of Des Moines,
Right.
I took my gun to work, and I had my gun in the drawer.
Right.
And I said to myself, there's a new sheriff in town. The prostitutes can't hang on my corner. People should be able to walk into Urban Dreams.
Right.
Because of my background, what I used to do as a kid, I knew how to deal with that neighborhood.
Right.
Let me be candid with you, Chris. The world would change tomorrow if the people who really knew what to do were empowered to do it.
Right.
I'm sorry, Chris.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I've been to your site
Well, yes.
at the YMCA as well.
Yes, that's
know.
right. And I had ex-offenders, people who have killed people. I had them all around me. They all worked. I gave them an opportunity to actualize.
And you worked with the ex-offenders, I know.
Chris, I was the first one in Des Moines. The school said, well, you can't bring those people here. Government officials said, you can't bring those people here. Then I tell them about my story. I said, yes, I can bring them here. I changed those dynamics because I've been there, done that. If I didn't rob the bus, if I didn't do those things, if I didn't do cocaine in high school and do all those things and shoot dice and all that, then I would have known. But I did those things. I was blessed to use my experience. Here in Washington, D.C., New York, and Chicago, people who know what to do are not empowered to do it. I was in power. I founded my own nonprofit.
Well,
I served for 14 years. I've been on the boards. I deal with governors and dope addicts. I deal with presidential candidates. I've been very blessed, but excuse me, I get excited about this. I know what I'm doing, Chris. If you give the people,
because you lived it,
Chris. When I got my new knee, Chris, I didn't go to a cardiologist. I went to a knee doctor.
Right.
When you got problems in the city, Chris, the Good Samaritan or the maternalistic approach, I'm going to help those people. Throw it out the window. Give people some opportunity who's been there, done that.
Right.
And we can change their lives
Well,
tomorrow.
that's why I love the Delancey Street program, which was
Yes,
ex-offender.
Mimi. Good old Mimi.
Yeah,
I'll never forget her.
Mimi Silver.
A legend.
I thought a legend. I mean, I loved the concept, and everybody loved the
Yes.
concept. Because you were having ex-offenders teach ex-offenders.
Right.
Right?
And I learned something from Mimi. She told me something. She said, Wayne, watch it, because they cannot recreate what you can do. No one has been able to come close to Delancey Street. Others have done different programs,
Right.
but no one, because it's hard to create that. It comes from within, Chris.
Yes,
She
yes.
was able to actualize.
Amazing, but she did.
You know what I mean? But she was able, Chris, there's many people, all walks of life.
Yeah.
If you throw us in Baltimore, throw us in Southeast Anacostia,
Right.
give them chances. Chris, I was walking around there sometime, and I would see some of those young people running nonprofits. Chris, they had no experience.
Right, right,
Chris, trust me,
Right.
they had no experience, and then sure ain't never robbed nobody.
right.
If I can be candid, the greatest thing I love on Mutual of Omaha, the greatest word I learned as a kid, Chris, put us back in our natural habitat. We are the animals, but those people who survive in their natural habitat are not intimidated by their natural habitat. That's the first thing I learned from watching Mutual of Omaha as a young kid. That meant so much to me, Chris, because I saw what was going on in the world. And I've always said urban dreams. My whole life has been urban, Chris.
Right. All urban.
I mean, the governors have told me, Wayne, what did you say again? I don't quite understand. I got that. I mean, but because I could have made it, I didn't want to assimilate, Chris. Come on, I've been around white people language for years. But I did not want to assimilate. I wanted to be who I am.
Right.
The expressions, the emotion. And my record speaks for itself. You could Google Wayne Ford and you could read about me for a whole week.
Oh, I know. We read a whole chapter on you.
Yes. Oh, my God. Chris, I'm sorry. I get too excited.
Dan,
Okay.
Mr. Rather.
Yes. And Chris.
And why did he choose you? How did you meet him?
Chris, he was reading the Washington Post. And I just did an article on the front page, the second page of Metro in the Washington Post. Black man from Iowa who talk a lot of urban stuff, used to rob buses. Now he's one of the most powerful men, black or white people in Iowa. He read that story.
Oh, he read that
story. And then he had a guy call me and said, first of all, is it real? Or is it Memorex? I say it is real. Wow. You robbed buses, became a state legislator in Iowa. Chris, just think about that for a minute. It doesn't make sense, Chris.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, no,
if
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Especially, I mean, yeah.
It doesn't make sense, Chris.
Doing coke, robbing buses. I mean,
it doesn't make sense, Chris.
Yeah, no.
But I did it. But I give it all to God because God gave me the opportunity to repent, turn my life around, and I've been giving back ever since.
Repackage yourself and
yes, Chris.
Take you to a whole new level.
Yes,
that
it is, Chris.
That has an amazing, long-lasting impact on people.
But I'm coming back home, Chris. I'm coming back home.
I'm glad you're back home. Yeah, it's great.
Because I was born in Freeman Hospital, and I want to impact this community.
Right. Thank you.
D.C. has always been tough. But to be candid, it made me who I am. Without D.C., I would not have become who I became.
Right.
And I did all right, Chris.
Yeah, but you had, I mean, you had some wonderful people around you.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
That bolstered you in their own way.
Yes. Yes, Chris, my family, the teachers.
Yeah, teachers, your friends.
Yes.
Scott Bradley's.
Yes. They said, Wayne, we see something special in you. I was intimidated because I couldn't speak that well. My speech teacher said, Wayne, never lose that personality. Right. So that's one, because I couldn't, still have, but I can speak, but the words don't come out right. Don't lose that passion, Wayne. Mr. Jim Duncan told me that. Mr. Sigmund, his name, Mr. Sigmund, he told me that. People have always told me, enhance what you got. They never try to take it away from me. So when I see people, Chris, one time I had a person who was mentally ill, had mental issues. Guess what I did, Chris? I made the person answer my telephone. And my program was $2 million. And $2 million program, you come in there, you'll see a person who had mental challenges. They was answering my phone.
I love it, Wayne. That's great. What a story. What a story.
They
I
still
could talk to you all night.
I mean, Chris.
I could talk to you all night, but we have to.
I'll be back, Chris.
You'll be back. You'll be back.
As General MacArthur said, I'll be back, Chris.
That's great. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you very much. So good to have you.
Thank you, Chris.
You've been watching The Next Word. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. Good night.